We're going to start out with the Ferrofluids Demo. First, a quick review of our supplies. We have our iron chloride, we have our ammonium hydroxide, our oleic acid, our water, and our ethanol and hexane for washing. Now, we have this set up a little bit different, and we're going to be doing this a little bit faster than normal, but all of the procedures are roughly the same, so please make sure you use this to your aid, but don't follow it exactly. Follow the procedures as written. All right, let's begin. So first we're going to take the iron chlorides and we're going to combine them, and we will make sure they're fully mixed. Perfect. Next we're going to add the ammonium hydroxide, and we're going to mix that while swirling the beaker. So give me a nice swirl, and you can just dump it in. Immediately you'll see a black precipitate form. Those are our magnetic nanocrystals. And so next we're going to give that a swirl for a few minutes or a few seconds, about 30 seconds or so. And once those are fully reacted with the ammonium hydroxide, we'll add in that oleic acid. You can just pour in the oleic acid, give that a nice swirl. Once it's nicely combined, we'll begin heating and throw the watch glass on top so that the ammonium hydroxide fumes don't vent out excessively. So we're going to let this heat without stirring until it begins to boil. That's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes, and so we'll come back to the video once this is complete. Okay, and we're back. Our solution has just barely started to boil, and what you'll notice is as the solution starts to boil, the solution will begin to clump up, so you'll get black particulates crashing out of the solution or separating. So once it has gone to a nice roaring boil, we can take it off the heat. We'll first add the water to cool it down. This just makes it a little bit easier to hold. Make sure your students are not going to burn themselves. If everything's done right, the lid or the rim of the beaker should be fairly cool to the touch. So we can now take that off the hot plate, and you can already see some of the clumps that have developed both on the top and on the side. So at this point, make sure your hot plate is turned off, and we'll begin using the magnet to remove the magnetic nanocrystals. You can rub it around the beaker a little bit, give it a little swirl even, and this will help the solution come closer to the magnet and pull out. So now, for all of these washing steps, what's crucial is quality, not quantity. So if you lose even upwards of 25% per wash, you'll still have more than enough nanocrystals. And in fact, the nanocrystals that do come out with your solution, you'll see in just a bit, those ones are not going to be good for spiking behavior, which we're looking for at the end. So it's in your interest to go for quality, not quantity. All right, so now we should only spend about a minute, which it's been roughly, to extract them. And you can see the water is going to be dumped out, whereas the magnetic particles are being collected on the magnet, which is held at the bottom of the beaker. Now, again, quality, not quantity. So we are losing a little bit, and if we even lost more, it'd be totally fine. So we're going to make sure we invert the beaker completely at each step. And so there you go. You see lose some. There we go. All the way inverted. And once it's completely inverted, we've removed now all of our water-soluble contents. That's our iron chlorides and our ammonium hydroxides. Next, let's move on to the ethanol washers. So this is first our larger 50 ml wash, and we're going to use our stir bar to help us kind of mix out these clumps and dissolve these clumps into the ethanol. This is going to try to remove the excess water, but it's also removing any unreacted oleic acid. So this is our polar / non-polar removal. You want to try to break up all those clumps, but don't spend any more than maybe 30 seconds to a minute, because anything more than that really is just not necessary. All right, we're going to again put the magnet next to it, and we're going to extract it out. you should see much more of your particles be lost at this step. You can see the liquid's much darker. So you're going to have some of those students that are going to try to recover every single particle. But remind them that the particles that are coming out, they are not well coated in oleic acid and they're not very magnetic. So these particles in particular, we actually do want to remove. So this is a purification step, so quality over quantity. Let's go for our second wash of ethanol. These ones can actually be a little bit quicker because once we get cleaner and cleaner, it just takes less and less effort to filter them out. Break up any of the larger clumps that you can find. If you miss some, it's totally fine. Okay. And we're going to use that magnet and again 180 invert the beaker completely vertical. And you can see you can be quite aggressive with it at this point. Perfect. And last one, we'll do one more ethanol wash. Now, one thing to note, we have been using the same waste beaker here at UCLA, but it is encouraged that you separate out your water with your ethanol and hexane. So use the waste 1 and 2. Again, follow the procedure exactly as written. This video is cutting some corners to make it a little bit faster and a little bit simpler for educational purposes. Alright, so we've got our final wash. Again, magnet, and just dump out the solution. Okay, now, of course, we need to get rid of the ethanol. So we'll do a hexane wash, and so just like the water was removed with the ethanol, the hexane is now going to be removed with the ethanol is going to be removed with hexane. Again, mix it, get the hexane in contact with all the nanoparticles if possible. That magnet, and we'll dump out the solution again, collecting the nanoparticles. So at this point, we're going to do a few more washes with hexane. Each time you should be removing more and more ethanol. Now hopefully there's no more water left over. If you do see any water, they'll come out as little white droplets that are separated from the black liquid. If that's the case, you might need to go back to an ethanol wash step, but hopefully you do not encounter that. So we'll have one more wash after this step. And again, each one of these washes are important because in order to get that spiking behavior, we really need just nanocrystals suspended in just hexanes. No excess oleic acid, no excess water, no excess ethanol, just magnetic nanocrystals suspended with hexane. So one of the final steps you can do is use the magnet to actually help mix it as well. And so you can see here, we have a pretty nice liquid. It's really dissolving up. But you can see some of the little dots that are crashing out. They look like little water or oil droplets. So those droplets we do want to remove. And so So that's the whole point of a lot of these washing steps. You'll see they'll come out as little clear droplets. So you see tiny ones right there. Perfect, so now we'll begin suspending them. Now check first, they might already be spiking at this time. And so it really is a balance between clumped up solids to pure liquids. And the spiking behavior is going to occur in between either the solids and the liquids. Somewhere in between there's a sweet spot. So right now this is actually pretty good. We're going to add a little bit more, and we're going to actually keep adding it until we end up getting just a pure liquid, and you will no longer see that spiking behavior, or nowhere near as well. So it's good to experiment, find the happy middle of where spiking behavior occurs, but note, too little is not good and too much is also not good. So you can see this is actually a really good mix where it's behaving like a pure liquid, and as you pull the magnet away from the side view, you can see we're pulling that magnet away from the beaker, and that's causing that spiking behavior. So as that magnet pulls away, you see spikes, and then once the magnet disappears or gets pulled too far away, it completely becomes a liquid, and that's what we're really looking for. So now let's add about 5 mils or 3 mils or so of hexane, and we'll show what happens when you use just simply too much hexanes. The spiking behavior effectively goes away. And so you can see there, it's trying to spike, but it's just too much liquid. You can see tiny amounts, but the liquid's covering up all those beautiful spikes. All right, so hopefully you're able to use this video and try to get a better understanding of how to make ferrofluids, especially the balance between the washing. Too much hexanes, not enough hexanes, too little washes, not washed well enough. It really is a balance, but you can see here what the end results are, and hopefully you are able to achieve this. All right, good luck.